Hey people, what's going on? It's Friday, the 31st, the last day of March. Yes, it is probably my age, but the time just seems to just rush by. It's like it was the beginning of 2017, and here we are heading into April already. Well, what's on my mind this morning? Got a busy weekend, but we'll try to share some music with you. I was really happy to share my visit with Greg with you. It's been a while since I've had any guests. It's not that I don't have company. It's just that a lot of times it's an afterthought, to have people get on camera. Since Greg and his family are going to be moving out of Omaha, probably by the end of the year, I wanted to capture the opportunity. Like he said, we're trying to make some music before he goes because we just really, when we met, we get along really well. You can see that. Well, happily, I have a few more new old records to show you. I slowly build up a pile as I go through my records. I find things that I can trade. There is more in here that I can get rid of. I mean, in all honesty, I could get rid of all of it. This stuff doesn't define me, even though it does. You know what I mean? But I'm not foolish enough to realize I'm not. I can see through being possessed by possessions. Okay. But anyway, I found some things to trade and mainly picked up some stuff that's been reissued that I used to have. Like this one right here, Condello, Phase 1, Mike Condello. When I was a kid in the 60s and early 70s, coming from a family that really was on the low end of the income, but I was fascinated with music, psychedelia, and let me explain it like this, from a child's perspective, maybe from a businessman's perspective in the 60s, it would be completely different. But from my perspective, when 1965 and 66, what was happening musically and culturally, when it hit Omaha, it was like, once again, like when I described when Kennedy died, the sky went black and the Beatles came, the light came back. It was like before a certain period in music was very, to me, strange, kind of weird black and white cutouts. I mean, I'm here from Omaha, from the great red state where not that long ago people actually listened to oh my God, what's that man's name? Mitch Miller and Mantovani. I mean, and you'd go into houses and you would see all these really weird Christian records, okay? So when psychedelia hit and records like this, it just boggled my mind, dazzled me, and I would just spend hours in the record stores looking at all the records, wanting them all. When this became a cutout, in other words, back in the day when you didn't sell a certain amount of product, you were taken out of this distribution like really fast and resold at a discount price to overstockers. And this is how I would get records: 3 for $1, 97 cents, 79 cents, and this was one. I didn't keep it, In listening to it the other night, it's like I was just a kid. I wasn't even getting how good this was. I really liked the beginning of side 2. Dr. Tar, Professor Feather. I liked the phasing and stuff. But now, this is way better than I remembered it. Beatlesque, yeah. This guy went on to produce a bunch of other people. So I picked that up. Here's one that was marked down. No one took a chance on. I'm glad I bought it, In recent years, library music and soundtracks have come into vogue with collectors for good reason. A lot of good music. Here's one that for some reason people in Omaha didn't pick up on. Bixio Frizza Tempera, Magnetic Systems. These are Italian composers who do soundtracks, and this is a mixture of electronics, music for film, kind of a funk. This is really good. This is one that I haven't seen anybody else show this. It's like, this is exactly what everyone's looking for. I mean, if you're looking for beats to sample, if you're looking for stuff to sample, right here. But if you just like me, and you just like library music and music of the mind, this is really good and really varied. It starts off with kind of a dirge, so I wasn't sure, if maybe I had messed up. And then every track is completely different. That's really good. Let me show the other one that here's one where, if I can spot it real quick, I'll show it, because I have children right here. There you go. The one thing about the sealed Blake sleeves that I found out, unfortunately, is that, when you shove them in, they get stuck together. Anyway, this is an album that definitely goes back to this is one of the first cutout psychedelic albums that I ever found for 39 cents, and thank goodness I kept it, because I liked it so much, still like it, and also because I love the cover. This was originally released on a small label called Cinema. I think the band paid for it, and then it was picked up by Atco. In reading, and I'll get to this. So it's been recently reissued in its original gatefold form. I had never seen a gatefold of it before, because when I bought it as a cutout, that was its major label attempt, to break through. And in reading the story of the band, which is included here, it turns out that Davy Jones of the Monkees is the one who picked them up, management-wise. That's why we even heard about these guys. This is a really good album. It's a mixture of pop, psychedelia, pastiche. Really, really good. The keyboardist was classically trained, and so that's in there, which I love. I love the mixture of classical and rock. So I wanted to. So as you see, I already had it, but it's like, yeah, I've been wanting that. Another one that was in the used section, so I mainly bought used albums to get the price break, was the third album by the West Coast Pop Art Experimental Band. This is Volume 3, A Child's Guide to Good and Evil. This band is notorious amongst train spotters or people who know music about the guy Bob Markley, who, or is this Bob Markley up here, who was rich and basically saw these teenagers at a party where I think the Yardbirds were playing, and roped them into being his band so that he could meet young underage girls. So that always comes up in articles about him. And this is one of those people where that information, I have to admit that it affected my attitude towards the music. This is at probably their best. I had never heard this one. I heard the first two, and I have one of them. I should be able to grab it pretty quick here. See, now here's, just give me a second. I think I see it. White, West. Yes. Okay, it's coming. Here we go. Okay. So this is a Sundazed reissue. Is it Sundazed? It doesn't say here on the outside who this is a reissue, but this is a reissue. But this is Volume 2. This is an original copy of the West Coast Pop Art Experimental Band's second album. And yeah, that's Bob Markley in the middle. Rich guy who had money to get these other two talented guys to back him and make this band happen. So I've had this one for a long time, and I've only just I've liked it okay. This one, which I just got, is much better. I actually really like this. Sounds like, I may be mistaken, but it sounds like the band had more to say about the music on this album. This is good. And then the other one that I got was an album I've always wanted. When it first came out, I didn't have the money. It's very collectible, so they got in a used copy of the Four Men with Beards reissue of Nidralog's Lady Lake. This is one of those really expensive RCA UK releases from the 70s, where with circumstances slightly different, you would know about this band possibly like you know about King Crimson. This is very prog. This is very much in that vein of King Crimson. Very ambitious. All kinds of elements. A lot of jazziness, but also classical. And a lot of what I consider Englishness, what comes off to me as English. I'm not from England, so I don't know what I'm talking about, but that's what it does. It comes off to me. And I've always loved this cover. What a great cover. Nidralog, Lady Lake. Happy to add those additions to my collection. And I have been very, very busy with my radio show, new releases. I'm working on shows. I've got a show tonight. Next week I have 4 shows with 4 different bands in 3 days. And a lot of rehearsals, so I'm staying busy. My listen to this Elaborations by Arthur Blythe was a real pleasant one because I didn't remember this album at all. And I like this a lot better than I thought I did. People suggested to me some other albums. One of them was Lenox Avenue Breakdown. I still haven't found it. I have it. I bought that when it came out. Somehow it got misfiled. So there's some music for you. I can't think to shout people out, but you're being very kind. And if you took personally that I unsubscribed, I'm sorry about that, but it's not a diss, it's just, I would look at channels where people doesn't look like they posted in a long time, and like I said, I'm not taking a lot of time watching, I just pop in and say hello to people now and then. So, anyway, it's Friday, going into the weekend, I hope it's a good one for you.